Yerevan is the best city in the world. Prove me wrong. Yes, we don't have skyscrapers and all other modern attributes, but it just hits different. I mean, take a look. It is the second safest city in the Caucasus, slightly behind Tbilisi. Has banger high-rise buildings which you will never know when it's gonna be finished, has sakura trees randomly planted around the city, strong pop culture, a badass flag, and much more. Its flag is literally a lion and some triangles. Whichever Armenian you ask what is the capital of the world, 99% of the time he's gonna say it's Yerevan. It's like you take a small village and tune it out. Yerevan, for most of its existence, was just a small regional town, like how Harazdan is now. But since the 1900s, it had the strongest glow-up ever. Don't get me started on the safeness of this city. It's the second safest city in the region. The nightlife is booming. You can literally get out at 8 p.m. and stay until 1 or 2 a.m. outside and still vibe. And in American towns, life literally becomes non-existent after 10 p.m. Like, dude, I wanted to go grab myself a beer and then I realized that the store is closed. Whereas in Yerevan, I can go to the store at 10 p.m., get my drink, and just vibe in the public balcony of my local Vysotka. It's also just one of those cities which you enjoy walking. In American cities, you somehow feel like a disabled person if you don't have a car. Public transportation is bad there and you constantly are with fear of being robbed. Whereas in Armenia, there's nothing like this. Everything is safe. All of this, for some reason, reminds me of the show Pimp My Ride for some reason. If you watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and if not, it's basically about pimping your ride. You take a broken car and restore it, tune it to the max, and let it out. В общем, Pimp My Ride, more like Pimp My Capital. And all of this is thanks to this guy right here, Alexander Tamanyan. This man literally tuned Yerevan from a mid-grid city to something that is genuinely cool to see. It's the Pink City. Tamanyan intended Yerevan to be a garden city, which if you go to Kentron, you will most definitely see. Most grid cities are actually mid now, but this one hits different because Yerevan eventually became the Frankenstein of Armenia. Now let's go through a historical deep dive too, shall we? As an Armenian, I can proudly say that Yerevan is literally older than Rome. Founded as Erebuni by this man right here, Argishti, this was supposed to be a military outpost, which eventually became the economic heart of Armenian province of Ayrarat back in antiquity. Rome was founded on 7 hills. Armenia during the Stone Age is also one of the most sophisticated places you would be in that particular era. We had so much obsidian, people would wish they had that. В общем, fast forward to the modern times, Yerevan became the capital of Armenia in 1918, where Armenia became an independent state. Though short-lived, this was the first time this city actually became the capital of Armenia, and it stayed like this pretty much for the rest of Armenia's existence. This is how it eventually evolved into a Frankenstein. District-wise, Kentron is the original Yerevan, although I think it gets way too much hype and tourism. Besides, it's the place where most people just go there in Lrvcnel. Basically meeting at the same place at the same time and basically doing nothing. And for Armenians, when you Lrvcnel for a long time, be careful because it can spiral into big Loqsh. Loqsh is the deadly form of boredom. When you have nothing to do, nor have motivation to do stuff, you're basically just existing and doing nothing, watching how your days go by and whatnot. Yerevan during the Soviet Union went through a speedrun to 1 million population count to get a metro. We don't have a sophisticated metro like other big cities do, but dude, we have something else. Safety. Ever wanted to take the metro and feel safe? Just use the Yerevan Metro. But bro, we got the metro before we hit 1 million in population. Back then our leader, Karen Demirchan, pulled a 10,000 IQ move by calling it an underground tram and eventually signing off permits to make it. However, it's literally just a line from HAYUTYUN to Yerord Mas. I remember back in the day I used to use the metro a lot, starting from HAYUTYUN, which is like point A and the metro, and ending up in Yerord Mas, which is point B and the final destination ever for Armenian Metro. Sometimes even slept in between and felt unaffected, whereas try sleeping in LA or New York metros. В общем, Yerevan has a ton of districts, but most look like extensions rather than logical continuations of Yerevan. Take Bangladesh for example. It's literally the Culver City of Armenia. It's just too cramped with big Soviet blocks and ton of mailas, basically hoods, neighborhoods. The average Qyartu density right there is very high, and you'll feel it when you enter it. Enough said. Whereas you visit Yerord Mas, you visit a completely different city. Now I have no idea why Yerord Mas is part of Yerevan. I mean, it has its own downtown, its own Tasovkas and stuff. You will spot a ton of Nivas down there, specifically the OG Dorjar. Only Armenians can buy Nivas and turn them into mini G-Wagons and claim it's the best of both worlds. I mean, it's true kinda, but if you bought a G-Wagon, or so we can say, Yashik, it would be a stronger option. But hey, Nivas are its own vibe. I can't blame them. Picture this though, you walk down the streets of Yerevan and it all seems nice until some Qyartu guy blasts music from a Niva. Ask any Armenian about this and they'll always tell you that they experienced it. Canon event, Eli. Like once I was near Rossia Mall and some dude blasted Dolya Varovskaya 24/7 and just circled around Rossia Mall for I don't know, maybe 60 times. Oh, and Rossia Mall is literally the weirdest mall I've ever seen. You just use escalators to move. Now it's a mall. I mean, it was a theater once, now it's a mall. Crazy. In fact, most of our malls were factories before or just theaters. This is why some of them kind of feel odd, but I'll say this. Armenian malls are a whole new level, man. Like, I visited some malls in America, and it was just mid, in my opinion. Armenian malls single-handedly defeat American malls. It's just a bunch of stores with nothing to do besides buying stuff. And if you don't know the store, what are you supposed to buy? I don't know, maybe I'm just used to one company selling all kinds of things and I just go there. Whereas Armenian malls are better because not just they have stores, they also have entertainment areas. Oh, and Dharma Garden Mall is literally one of the goated malls ever in Yerevan. Because unlike other Armenian malls, it wasn't built on top of a factory. It was started from scratch. Plus, it's the first ever mall in Yerevan, so I guess that counts as a big bonus. But there's also Yerevan Mall. Despite it being based on a factory, it's also genuinely an okay place to just go and vibe. Both of them are pretty decent in my opinion. В общем, all our districts are spawn points. Whether you're a Qyartu, a Nefor, a punk metalhead, or just a Qyartusi, we have too many spawn points of them scattered around Yerevan. Qanaqer Zeytun, for instance, is its own thing. I lived in Yerevan my whole life and I've never visited this place for some reason. All I know about it is just they have this one factory that produces diamonds, almost Gortsaran, and there's also the Pepsi headquarters, bunch of carts in between too. Another one is Massive, more like massive, because this place has too many Massives cramped into this Massive. Each of them has its own vibe. I remember visiting Massive in general and instantly getting that hit of depression because of all those Soviet blocks. At least they have this one cool statue of our OG founding father, Hayknapet, Jogi Akhber. And there is also Mega Mall, which is basically the biggest mall in Yerevan or in Armenia ever. Now, if you expand a city like this, you desperately need to fill it up with people so as a city can survive in a way, which it did because we also could technically afford 2 tram systems. One ended up being transformed into a metro and the other one became non-existent because apparently we sold most of its parts and eventually dismantled it. However, what you get are bigger roads and even worse traffic. Yerevan traffic is so horrible, people just cut over you for no reason. They don't even use the Margatel 2, the flashers. Russians have this one saying, Zakon jungli prokuror medvedь. And if you can drive in Yerevan, you basically can drive anywhere. For instance, driving in the US is just too straightforward unless you live in Glendale, which is nearly the same vibe as you get in Yerevan. В общем, Arabkir? Based. Now I'm kind of biased with this district because it literally slaps because I spent most of my time there. Many OG Yerevan residents know that this place once had this Mamma Mia pizzeria which is now gone. What can I say? Rest in peace, Mamma Mia pizzeria. What Arabkir has is this one huge supermarket named Yerevan City. As for the creators of that supermarket, I'd say that they were very creative with the naming. But jokes aside, it's actually pretty decent. They also have this mall named Rio Mall, which is basically our former fridge factory. It's a small mall, but despite of its size, it's pretty decent in my opinion. I used to go there a lot with my laptop and do my, projects. Arabkir also has these buildings. I'm sure those are named Stalinkas. What other better way is to save money during construction? You split the floor in half and make 2 new floors. I mean, check this out. Windows are comically small, and I think sometimes those are used for decoration. Another district we have is Erebuni. Remember the ancient Erebuni we talked about, the ancient Yerevan? This district is the closest to its original location. It has banger street food, But its mall is low-key kinda irrelevant. I mean, I went there, there's nothing special. But bro, this is one of those OG Qyartu spawn points. Add this among the lines of Bangladesh, Yerord Mas and Zeytun. You get the 4 horsemen of Qyartu Calypso. Armageddon, to put it simply. What else is there? Avan. Imagine living in the most remote district of Yerevan. Commuting there is a nightmare. I mean, there's literally nothing there despite newer apartment buildings like Novostroykas, for instance. But bro, if you try driving there, most likely you'll be stuck in a 2 to 3 hour traffic almost every single day. Metro doesn't go there. In fact, it's too far away. Taxi prices, they're high. Public transport doesn't always go there, but hey, at least they have some decent buildings down there. Oh, and don't get me started on transport in general though. It's horrible. I mean, imagine this. You're a family of 4 and all 4 of you have cars. Yerevan can't handle this volume of cars, man. It's just too much. It's overwhelming. Anyway, what else is there? Ajapnyak. Oh, Ajapnyak pizza. This is literally what happens if you mix Arabkir and Bangladesh. It's not very Qyartu dense in a sense, but it's kinda decent. I grew up there as a kid, so I will be biased here too. 10 out of 10 district. We got a supermarket, an entire bazaar on the street near Shenanigans, and banger perashkis. And I just discovered we had a gym there too. And don't get me started on Tumo. I think it's self-explanatory. Davtashen Kvartal. It's basically you go north of Ajapnyak and you find depression. Those were basically villages before, but then the Soviets tried to merge them into Yerevan's plan by building huge blocks, which will eventually get you into depression as long as you see them. But Akhberes, at least they have some decent transportation there, unlike in Avan. They also have a mall there, Garage Mall, which I've never been to, but at least that place too has decent Novostroykas. And if you get one, you basically get your 4 personal concrete walls with basically nothing. Lrvcnel, what else do we have here? Norq Marash. Basically a bunch of houses without any commie blocks in between. This place is decent until you realize there's nothing much to do there apart from having your own house. I mean, if you're into gardening, you can get your own house with your own personal garden and just feel like the man. But if you go a little bit south, you'll end up in the Televishka area, the Armenian TV tower, where you will have almost zero reception. There is Sari Tagh also somewhere around there. This is the OG Armenian PvP arena. It's an old neighborhood, per se. I'll say this is Armenia's Grove Street. Speaking of other similar neighborhoods, there is also Kond, which is the oldest ever Armenian neighborhood, which is now a living art form itself, unlike Sari Tagh. 2 opposite sides of the Qyartu spectrum. Wanna visit the Dead Sea? Hokche. We have our own Dead Sea in Armenia, created by excess gypsum which secreted salt into this area. There's also a lot more. I mean, there's Raikom and all. And I don't want to hear anyone say, bro, you forgot this, you forgot that. I mean, let us feel each other too, cause why not? Akhberjan. Kentron is overhyped and other districts also deserve this hype. After all, Yerevan is the center of the universe, the center of Armenia and beyond. Since Banereli Akhber, hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Paka paka, davajte.